Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage, Marriage Mornings. I am your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning, my name is Seth.
And this is not our normal podcast format. We have 100 episodes plus of a different style that we do, but this is our daily Marriage Morning Infinity Challenge that we do. And we are on day number 9 that we are titling Removing Your Relationship Blocks. And that is about this idea that I learned about from my neighbor. But before we do that, we always do 3 things. We do a prayer, we do a past gratitude, and then a future hope. So we're going to start off with prayer. Would you like to pray or me?
Yeah, you go. It's your turn.
Okay. Dear Lord, I just want to thank you for this day. I want to thank you for this opportunity to live fully in good relationships and to bring good things into the world and to have a wonderful time with all the blessings that we've been given and work hard to make those blessings matter, God. Please be with all of our listeners. Please help them in all of their relationships, God. And thank you for them. All right. Amen.
Amen.
That's how I end prayers. All right. Amen.
Right. God knows.
Go. God knows. So that was our prayer, our past gratitude, and that's a thing we're thankful for that happened yesterday.
That our spouse did.
That our spouse did.
Right. I was thankful for getting to go to dinner with you yesterday. We talked a lot. We talked about a lot of cool ideas, and it's cool to have a partner who has a like mind, and it wasn't always like that, and we are there now, and I'm really enjoying that. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
So thanks.
You're welcome. I'm thankful that you bought me dinner. Just kidding. I'm also actually really thankful for the dinner that we went to, and just that I'm thankful that you are present with me when we do things in our relationship, that you're not just like absent, except for the time we were at Carrie's house and you're on your phone. But apart from that, I'm very thankful it's
like everybody's absent.
I'm thankful with the way that you are with our marriage and how we talk about things and how we're excited about things together. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Our future hope, which a future hope is just the thing you're looking forward to either today or tomorrow or long term with your partner. So.
Oh boy, long term, a ton of things, right? But for today, I am hoping that it's Saturday and it's in Seattle. It's kind of sunny here, so I hope that we get to do some cool stuff just outside as a family, and that can mean raking leaves, picking up sticks in the yard, or running around with the kids and you.
My hope for today is that we get some time where we can really just focus on some of the things we want to create together and that we are creating together, like podcasting stuff, video series stuff, just future Anatomy of Marriage stuff. I'm really excited about it, and I hope that today we can actually do those things and get some time to do
so
them.
So the whole 3 concepts that we do, prayer, past gratitude, future hope, is really a part of a successful formula that a lot of people talk about, like Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning, Benjamin Hardy. All these people, they talk about the first couple hours of your day really determines the rest of your day, and this is a chance for us to really be intentional about it and visualize what's going on, and it's been really helpful. So
and it sets the tone, like the mood of the rest of your day, because I don't know about you, but there's times when I've woken up from I've had a weird dream or was reminded in the wee hours of the morning of some weird unfortunate thing that made me irritated or whatever, and I've woken up and literally been in a bad mood. And that has colored and shaped my entire day.
That's right.
And so these marriage mornings are just a way to be like, I'm going to be intentional about my morning, regardless of how whatever. And we're going to do this prayer, this past gratitude and future hope on purpose to make our day better. And so, I'm glad that you pointed that out. But we said the title of today's episode is Removing Your Relationship Blocks, and I'm going to tell you a little backstory about where that idea came from. So I was walking with my friend, and we were talking about, she had met with a specialist who was talking about diet stuff, and was saying, what is your biggest domino that if it would just fall, it would knock all the other ones over, right? And so it was in that conversation, it was about food and diet. So it was is it eating healthy meals that is the biggest hurdle? Is it getting time to exercise? Is it that? What is it? And if you could identify the really, really big block and push it over, could it knock all the other ones over that you were wanting to do as well? And then I immediately went, oh my gosh, that's like a relationship tool. You could totally do that in your relationship. And another way to say that is like, what stands between you and your success with your partner, right? So I think of like, is it bitterness? If you could just like ease and calm down and put the brakes on your bitterness, would everything else be bitter? Right? What do you think about that?
Well, I think as a therapist, I've never heard of this idea, like specifically like the dominoes. And I really like it because my brain went, okay, there can be really positive dominoes. Like, what is the first one? When I start this one, then I get some momentum. Then the next one, it just gets easier and easier. And then also negative dominoes. And then I go back to things that I've learned from drug and alcohol counseling, and then even my own work that I've done around that. And they have a saying that you get drunk off the first drink. And I was like, what? Oh, no, you don't. Biologically and physically, you don't, right?
You don't biologically.
Right, but it's a mind thing. If you're struggling with like, oh, I shouldn't do this, I know. And then you go, well, just one. Boom. Mentally. You've made this. That is the very small domino that just goes, you know what? I'll maybe have 2 or 3. And then you get drunk off the first drink.
It's your negative domino.
That's a negative domino, right? And I really love this because we want to... I've talked about this before on the podcast. In solution-focused therapy, we want to identify the times where the problem wasn't the problem. So tell me about the time when that big domino didn't fall. Okay, what did you do before then not to make it fall? Or tell me about the times when that really small domino fell and then the other ones fell after that, and then you found yourself having success at the end of those dominoes falling. So it's tell me about a time when the problem wasn't a problem, and then when you had success, okay, let's reverse engineer that and see what you did. So I really love the domino effect. I want to do an entire podcast about that and just share some real life examples for listeners around that. I think that's good.
Yeah, and the thing that came to my mind as I was sort of writing out the whiteboard that we make for each marriage morning was that oftentimes we look at all of the problems in our relationships and it's like really overwhelming because sometimes they're just little things, but it's like kind of like if you're looking at a yard full of gravel, right? It's like a billion little rocks and you're like, I don't know where to start.
Right.
But if you look at that yard full of gravel, you see some huge boulders that stop you from being able to rake the gravel out. And if you could just get rid of the giant boulders, then you could get a rake and start raking, right? So if you didn't know, we have a gravel driveway. And the thing that I thought was that often, like I said, we just let the sheer volume of things or the like, I don't know where to start, overwhelm us. And so we don't start anywhere. We just look at it and go, I don't know what to do. But if we can start with the biggest dominoes, the things that stop us from making progress, it's better to even ignore those other things momentarily to get those bigger things out of the way.
Wait a minute. I disagree with you. Do you know why? Because you know how Dave Ramsey, the debt snowball, you start with the smallest first, and then you get momentum going because you're not going to be able to take the biggest thing.
Let me tell you why I'm saying that. So if my biggest domino is bitterness or jealousy, it impacts every single other block. So if I'm jealous and we go out to dinner and I'm like, oh, but I got to ignore my jealousy. I'm supposed to be kind or whatever. But jealousy is like raging inside of me. I'm not going to be able to be kind.
Okay.
So that's the way that I get what you're saying. I understand the debt snowball concept that you're talking about.
I think, and this is really weird. This is totally a paradox. This intervention can go either way, I think. Start with the smallest or bite off the biggest you can chew, and then things will follow after that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it goes back to what what's her name said, Leslie Parrott, that awareness is curative. Like, take a minute and say, what are my dominoes? Like, how about that? What is yours? Can you think of what is my domino? In our relationship, like, what would be your biggest domino?
I thought of this yesterday when we started talking about this, and oddly enough, we talked about some of these ideas on the past Miracle Mornings. Marriage Mornings.
Yep.
A lot of M's everywhere. Melanie, geez. Okay, the Melanie Mornings. Anyway, when
Mornings with Melanie.
We talked about noticing one another, and a domino for me is if I don't feel noticed or just like, hey, good morning, hello, that's a very small domino that can go. And I notice those for me in my relationship with Melanie. So if Melanie doesn't do something, and it's not like she has to do stuff, it's not weird. I mean, it's not like a weird thing. If she doesn't notice, then that puts in me. It's a really small domino that goes, oh, wait a minute. It's just like a negative domino kind of thing that doesn't feel good. And then I am thinking about that. And then I'm more aware of it. And of course, what we focus on expands. Then there's another thing that she may not do.
I'm going to stop you right now. Those are things I do. We're talking about what you do.
What I do.
Your brain.
Well, that's the thing.
We might have to trash this episode because I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
I think I'm understanding. Okay, so how about this? For maybe drinking too much beer or eating too many sweet things. If I go, I eat one or whatever, then that is a domino that affects how I wake up in the morning. If I wake up early or say, I want to sleep in. If I exercise or not exercise, and then that's a domino. And then, guess what? That is a day that goes into another day and a third day. And then I end up being like, I've really slacked off. So that is a negative domino for me.
I know.
What about you?
Yes, but I would say in seeing that negative pattern, you need to establish and say, I'm going to change that by not driving to the bakery. Yes. Something like that. Mm-hmm. I can't think of what the word would be for my negative. It probably is. It's like maybe resentment, but not in the way that I think people would think of resentment. Because when for example, you said a minute ago, when you don't say hi to me, I can't blah, blah, blah. Right? And I'm very resentful of that because you're putting all of your emotional needs into my hands. Right. And then I actually can't show you my emotional needs because I'm too busy juggling all of yours. Right. And I have... I'm going to delete this episode, y'all. Oh, no. But it really does make me like it's probably the biggest domino to knocking down all the other ones that would make a bunch of other things feel better in our marriage. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But I genuinely don't know how to start repairing that in a way. I have to remind myself not to be resentful and to be happy, because that's a choice I make, right? Every single day I can choose to be like, he did this, he said that, he thought this, blah. Or be like, he's a person. Yep, I'm still happy I'm here, right? Just choosing happiness in that and the awareness that resentment is in the background somewhere, like low level functioning somewhere. And if I can kind of pull it out and weed it out and find it and then get rid of it, throw it down, knock that domino down, it will help all those other things, right? Right.
Even doing the show is a positive domino for us because it makes us aware of stuff. So,
and sets the tone for everything. So, again, these marriage mornings are meant to help encourage positive relationships and a pattern, building in a pattern and a, what's the word? Pattern?
Routine.
Building a routine that is helpful and encouraging for your marriage and for our marriage. So please do marriage mornings with us. It's a prayer, a past gratitude, and a future hope. Get on Facebook and share the things that you've done. Use hashtag marriage mornings or hashtag anatomy of marriage to let us know and let your friends know and let your partner know that you care about your relationship. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
We won't see you. Well, we will see you soon. However, we want to do, if this is helpful, please go to patreon.com/anatomy of marriage. And also, events. We will be in Chicago March 2nd. Go get your tickets for that. And also, if you're in the South, which is where I'm from, Dallas, Texas. Keller, Texas, actually.
You're not from Keller, March Texas. 15th. We'll be in Keller, Texas.
Yeah, but I'm from the South, so.
All right.
All right. Later.
See you later. Bye. Bye.